Klavdia Ivanovna was awakened by some noise. It seems that the neighbors from above were brawling again. Damn drunk, the old woman thought, sighing. It was the middle of the night, and even the usual dim streetlights did not illuminate the sleepy street, so it was dark in the modestly furnished room. My head was pounding, and my blood pressure must have increased again. She urgently needed to take the pills prescribed by her doctor, but she didn't want to get up terribly. The warm-down comforter in which she wrapped herself so carefully, paired with a fluffy pillow, seemed to whisper, "Sleep, sleep, sleep. I'll sleep it off in the next world." Ugh, God forgive me, I'm an old fool. Crossing herself, Klavdia Ivanovna got out of bed, climbed into her old slippers, and after flicking the light switch several times to no avail, groped her way to the medicine cabinet. The noise from above continued. Thuds on the floor of the neighbor's apartment led the old woman to a terrible thought. Has Eugene really gotten drunk again and is beating his wife, Lena, or maybe someone else, to a pulp? They have the whole neighborhood hanging out, as they say nowadays, and he's a jealous guy. God has given us neighbors, but I still feel sorry for him. It's such a sin to take on your soul. Carefully pulling out the latch, the old woman took out a small tin box containing the pills she needed. She took them and, bringing them to her mouth, froze. It became very quiet, neither the rumble of passing cars, nor the barking of street dogs, nor the cries of night birds. Nothing broke the absolute silence. Even the noise from above had stopped. Klavdia Ivanovna felt with all her being that there was something terrible in the darkness, something insanely frightening. Suddenly, there was not enough air. It seemed to her that the room was getting smaller and smaller. Her head was on the verge of bursting either from pain or from insane tension. Fresh air, that's what we need right now, the old lady thought. Hastily swallowing the medicine and reading Our Father, she cautiously wandered to the window, intending to open the window. Just a little more and all the nightmares will disappear, carried away by a light, cool wind. It was pitch dark outside, and even the windows of the neighboring houses were not visible. Groping for the old latch, she heard a familiar click. Suddenly a pungent smell of fresh earth hit her nose, huge chunks of which began to literally seep through the open window. The old woman tried with all her might to stop this endless stream, but it was too late. The earth was everywhere, sticking to his face and hands. It seemed to bite into his hair, climbed into his nose and mouth. It was impossible even to scream, to call for help. The main thing is not to fall, otherwise it's the end, the end, the end. A terrible thought pounded in her temples and gave her strength. Weak legs, literally drowning in sticky mud, made their way to the exit. In a panic, she yanked open the front door. A torrent of earth poured into the apartment and knocked her down. There was no point in fighting anymore. Klavdia Ivanovna woke up from a terrible dream thinking that she had never experienced anything scarier in her life. The old woman opened her eyes, and a shudder ran through her body. More thuds from above, again that impenetrable frightening darkness, but something changed. The smell, the fragrant smell of fresh wood was everywhere. And there were voices, yes, definitely voices from somewhere, and it looked like crying. The old lady tried to get up, but she hit her head hard. It was too tight, it was very tight. The realization of what was happening did not come immediately. With difficulty freeing her hands and not stopping screaming, she began to knock, trying to save herself, to warn that she was still alive. But the blows from the falling earth, which inexorably covered the coffin lid, drowned out all her futile attempts. I no longer had the strength, It became more and more difficult to breathe, and hot tears ran down my cheeks, pitted with deep wrinkles. Time passed, and, lost in her thoughts, Klavdia Ivanovna did not notice that everything was quiet around her. All she could hear was the beating of her own heart, which was destined to stop forever in a few moments.